I'm Steve Hartman. I am the Senior Director running eBay Partner Network, and joined here by Will Martin-Gill, Senior Manager who runs our North America and Asia Pacific programs. Wanted to have a discussion with you guys today about setting quality standards in affiliate marketing. It's an important topic that is being talked about, and wanted to give some of the insights that we've learned from bringing eBay Partner Network in-house, and also some of the areas that we're working on right now. As we get started though, I wanted to do a quick straw poll and just see what the audience makeup is here. So who here is on the network side of affiliate marketing? Okay, great. And how about merchants? All right, great. And affiliates? Okay, so yeah, decent amount of decent merchant mix here. So we're going to do probably about 40 minutes of presentation or so, and then we're going to have time for Q&A at the end. And if you do have a question, if you could come up to the microphone, I think we're actually streaming this online right now, so if you can come up to the microphone and ask your question up there, that way everyone who's either watching the recording or watching online can see it as well. That would be great. So let's see if this works. Great. So for folks who may not be familiar with eBay Partner Network, wanted to give you a quick background. We've had an affiliate program since 2001. We made the decision to bring the program in-house, started working on 2007, actually launched eBay Partner Network in April of 2008. We wanted to improve our ability to use data and also our ability to innovate rapidly. So those are two of the drivers for us to bring it in-house. As far as how we're positioned, we're actually, since we have our own in-house program, we're the network, we're also the merchant, and we have a number of different programs on the eBay Partner Network. So we've got 12 eBay sites, we've got half.com. For those of you who have used eBay Partner Network and are affiliates of ours, you probably know that there are different payout structures, differences between the programs. One of the things that eBay Partner Network is allowing us to do is to bring some more consistency to the overall network and to the programs across our sites. Also with our programs, we combine cost per sale and cost per lead. So it's a little bit of a hybrid model that way. And one of the reasons we do that is because we do want to reward our affiliates both for the value they bring in incremental sales, but also the value that they bring in new users and new high value long-term users of eBay who they're going to bring onto the site. So we want to make sure that we're paying rich commissions to our affiliates who are really performing well, which is why we combine both of those actions. Also on our affiliates themselves, we've got over 100,000 affiliates in 27 countries. So it's a pretty broad array there. And we also have a lot of different business models that we support, including all the ones that we're mentioning up here. So overall, fairly big program, and a lot of growth here in 2008 as we ramped from launching it in April and ramping it all the way up. So it's been a really busy year for us, and a lot of great progress. One of the big focuses that we've had, however, in 2008 was focusing on quality and improving quality within our affiliate program. So with that, why quality standards are important. It is fairly self-evident, but it bears mentioning that affiliate fraud, first of all, it affects everyone. So it affects not only advertisers, it affects networks, it affects publishers. And advertisers obviously don't want to pay for fraudulent traffic, so that's pretty obvious. Networks end up spending a lot of time battling fraud, and a lot of resources that can be spent helping advertisers, helping affiliates, need to be put towards combating fraud. And other affiliates as well, they're having commissions basically stolen from them by people who are performing fraudulent clicks, generating fraudulent ACRUs. So all of these factors make this a big problem that we need to address. And when you talk about it, you kind of mentioned in the background of, well, there's black hat, there's affiliate fraud. And this is millions of dollars that are being stolen from affiliates, from networks, from advertisers. So it's definitely a serious issue that we need to continue to focus on. Second, on the other side, a focus on quality is really a win for everyone. So advertisers are going to have better performing affiliate programs. They're going to want to invest more in affiliates. Affiliates are going to make more money by driving quality traffic, getting better conversions, and again, advertisers are going to want to pay them more for that quality. And networks as well. So networks get to spend less resources on focusing on the bad side of quality, more resources focusing on the good side, improving the performance advertisers are going to want to sign up for them, affiliates are going to want to join, so it's a great virtuous cycle when we focus on quality. It is also a lever that everyone can influence. So again, networks can focus on providing support for advertisers, support for affiliates, helping to drive the messaging of what is important for people to work on. Advertisers can provide tools, provide data, provide insights to their affiliates to help them perform better. And affiliates themselves can do more targeting, can do more optimization of their sites to improve their performance. So it is something that everyone can pitch in and really help to drive this. And the last point is in the current economic environment, I mean, everyone knows that we're all trying to invest our marketing dollars in the most effective way possible. So the more that we all work together to make the affiliate channel more compelling for people to spend their money there, the more that will get investment into affiliate marketing and make us all more successful. On the topic of quality, it has been becoming a focus across advertisers, across networks, and across publishers. Just a couple of quotes that point that out from Google's 10Q in first quarter last year, terminating relationships with Google network members who weren't complying to their terms. Also with Yahoo and Doug Amuth's Internet Inside report, talking about their relatively flat top line growth as they continue to cleanse out the affiliates. And I think this is more in the discussion of their graphical network and YSM, but it's being talked about from financial analysts, it's being talked about by the companies themselves. In addition, looking at merchants and what's important to them. So the first graph up here, I hope everyone can read this. These are pretty big screens, but usually you can't even read these graphs, so I'll explain them a little bit. For the Think Equity Partners did a study on ad networks, and about 28% of folks that cited that inventory quality was the best differentiator between one ad network and another. So this was the top differentiator between ad networks. Second, so Sean Collins in his AFSTAT report, which is a great survey of affiliate program managers, about 52% of the pay-per-lead merchants cited that quality-related topics were the most important challenges that they had in their affiliate program. So again, it's important from the network side, and it's important from the advertiser side as well. And for eBay Partner Network, this is how we think about network quality as being core to our entire business. So again, it allows us to pay really rich commissions to our publishers, and it allows us to send high value traffic to our advertisers. And as I look at all of our other marketing channels and how we're basically competing with each other to send the best traffic we can to eBay, I want to beat them and send better traffic to eBay through the affiliate channel than through the other channels that we've got. So this is something that we say is very core to us, and we want to continue to develop this and continue to improve moving forward. So I've talked about quality a lot, but I haven't mentioned what I actually mean when I'm talking about it. So here's what we think about when we talk about quality at eBay. First of all, is the traffic that's coming to eBay legitimate? So i.e., is it not fraud? Second is, how incremental are these sales? So are these sales that would not have happened otherwise without the actions of our affiliates? Or are they sales that were likely going to happen and they happen to click through on an affiliate link on the way there? And last, looking at our ACRUs, we really look at the lifetime value of customers. So are we paying the right amount for new ACRUs that are providing long-term value to eBay? So those are three things that we really look at when we talk about quality at eBay Partner Network. And I'm going to go through the first one on legitimate traffic, and then I'm going to pass it off to Will, and he's going to finish up with the incrementality of sales and lifetime value of customers. So on the topic of fraud, there's multiple battles that we fight for network quality and the things that we see. A lot of these are probably fairly common for the other merchants out there and things that they're dealing with. But first, cookie stuffing, fairly standard. But we do see, we have seen in the past large attempts for cookie stuffing, especially with as large as eBay is, and with as ubiquitous as it is across internet users. It's pretty easy to sprinkle some cookies out there and have somebody eventually come through and buy something on eBay. So it makes us an interesting target for that. Second, ACRU manufacturing, especially as our old payout structure. Will's going to talk about a little bit about how we changed our payout structure for ACRUs and how we went to a value-based pricing system. But in our old payout structure, we had fairly compelling for people to go out and create ACRUs and try to get compensated for ACRUs who are really delivering no value to eBay. Third, malware. So again, fairly common, but creating software that's going to drop cookies on people's machines. And then on the and more ... Since we have a marketplace and we have independent sellers and independent buyers who are transacting on our platform rather than us doing the sales directly ourselves, makes us for an interesting target for some other types of fraud as well. So on that, we work very, very closely with our trust and safety team for eBay Marketplace, also our PayPal fraud and risk team, and really work together in a joint effort to try to suss out all the different types of fraud that are being perpetrated between sellers, buyers, and on the affiliate channel. So this does take a concerted effort, and this is where we spend a lot of time working to make sure that we're keeping the network clean, so therefore we again can pay really good commissions to the affiliates who are driving great traffic to eBay. So overall, it's a problem we need to address, so what can be done about it? And actually, what can everyone else do about it as well is one of the questions we ask. So for all the merchants out here in the audience, what can you do? So aggressively attack network quality. This is something that we've really taken on in earnest in 2008. And we've built a lot of capabilities internally using data and analytics. We've done a lot of new analysis to try to figure out what are the patterns that we're seeing, identify them, put systems in place to be able to track them, and then taking action to systematically eliminate the behavior. Before I think we're going through some more of the hand slapping approaches to dealing with fraud. Now if we see malicious behavior, we have what we refer to as our zero tolerance policy. So if we see that people are doing something malicious, they don't get a second chance to remedy their behavior. We tend to focus on the affiliates who are going to be doing good things within the network rather than trying to just continuously remedy the folks who are causing problems. The other point on that is don't just focus on the big guys. Some of the experience that we've had with the ACRU manufacturing, we addressed it for larger publishers where we saw this was a problem, and then we saw that the patterns changed, and all of a sudden there were a lot of smaller publishers where this became a problem. So this gives a point that this is really a challenge that you need to put dedicated resources towards. As you identify patterns of fraud and address them, they're going to change, they're going to continue to change. So you need to have a team that's on top of that and trying to stay ahead of any type of fraud that's in your system. The other thing that's been very effective for us in 2008 is focusing on the front door and putting policies and the screening in place to make sure that we're letting in affiliates who are going to have a good chance of being successful within eBay Partner Network, so that we don't end up spending a lot of time just letting everyone in and then weeding everyone out after the fact. So we try to put some good front door policies in place, screen all the applications that are coming in, look at people's sites, and make sure that we're really paying attention to who we're letting into the program. That's been one of the things that we've changed. Some people are a little unhappy about it, where they're not quite sure what our policies are. We're not completely clear on that because we can't tell people exactly what the rules are. Therefore, you can create an application that exactly matches our rules and get in, and then change your behavior after that. So on the last point, be clear with your affiliates. This is a balancing act of try to be as clear as possible, but we can't give away too much information that's going to allow everyone to game the system who wants to try to do that. So I think this is one of the areas where we can improve moving forward, and we talk about it a lot internally about how we can communicate more clearly what kind of information we can share. So we'll say to the eBay Partner Network affiliates who are in the office, definitely give that feedback to us. Let us know when we're communicating well, what are the things that you'd like to see, and that's the ongoing dialogue that's going to continue to help us improve in that area. And there are times that we're going to say we'd like to share that, but we're not able to because there's some additional risk with that, and we'll be clear on that one as well. And then as an affiliate, so said, what can you do to address this as a merchant? What are the things that you can do as an affiliate to address this as well? And this one is really around two things, the terms and conditions and also protecting yourself and being more proactive and more communicative. So On the T's and C's, this is one thing that I think is glossed over more than it should. I think some people treat the terms and conditions like you're signing up for an e-commerce site to go purchase an iPod. That's not what we're doing. You're creating or starting a commercial relationship between the merchant and the affiliate. So it's really, really important that affiliates read the T's and C's, understand them, and really try to abide by them. Ask questions if you're not sure. So that's one of the things that's been effective with us, with people asking questions. And also on our boards, we've had some good discussions around the terms and conditions, and a number of our affiliates are really vocal on the boards and try to help out other affiliates as well and point out, if they've got questions that are against the T's and C's, hey, don't do this. This is where you'd be violating the terms and conditions. So that's been really helpful for us. I think on the flip side of that, as an advertiser, it's incumbent upon us to be as clear as possible with our terms and conditions. And then also, when we change the terms and conditions, be very, very clear and concise about that. So that's one of the things that we need to continue to do, is to make sure that we're pointing these out, and also send out some reminders on the terms and conditions as well, because it is one of the things that, over time, you can forget to revisit them. So we need to make sure that we're reminding people to do that as well. Also on protecting yourself, so being transparent, the more transparent relationship that we have with our affiliates, the better that we feel that we know them, we trust them, and that we know what's going, especially when things are changing, what's changing, why it's changing, and why people are moving around within our program. Also being proactive and monitoring metrics. So talking to us if there's something that's going on. Hey, I'm doing a big promotion this week on my site, therefore you're going to see my traffic ramp up. So that type of communication really, really helps us out. And then last, if you have a sub or super affiliate model, make sure you understand your responsibilities there. That's where we've had some interesting conversations with people who did not understand that they were responsible for all of their sub affiliates and all of the traffic that they were driving, and they were directly responsible for that. So that's where if you're using a model like that, again, make sure you're being very, very communicative with your merchant. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Martin-Gill and let him take it on in.
Thanks, Steve. Is the mic live now? Yeah, it looks that way. Well, thanks a lot. So the other two parts of this are just incrementality of the sales and lifetime value of customers. Now, affiliate marketing is thought of as the ultimate marketing channel, because at the end of the day, merchants are only paying affiliates for sales, leads, conversion events that are actually occurring. Now, I think most merchants in this room, as well as ourselves, have probably asked themselves, but is every sale and every lead that comes in really 100% incremental? Would some of these have happened anyway? And so it is, I think as advertisers, we haven't really gone and started to address some of these questions as much as we probably could have. Most compensation structures just pay out for sales and for leads. We don't take these things into account. There are some variances. We pay some affiliates to bring us more volume but outside of that, there hasn't been a lot of this. And some of the data, as Steve has said, that we've been starting to get from having the network in-house is starting to have us challenge some of these assumptions that we had for ourselves, and which the industry has kind of thought about. So one of the things Steve mentioned was that most programs measure sales. So if a customer that comes in from an affiliate has a cookie from that affiliate, has a tracking cookie, they buy something, and that customer then buys within the cookie window, the sale gets attributed to the affiliate, they get paid. Now, what we should really be thinking about is, would that sale have actually happened without the effort of the affiliate? Now, a lot of sites, especially the bigger ones, the top 100 merchants out there in the Internet Retailer 100 space have millions of unique visitors. eBay and Amazon each have 50 or 60 million unique visitors a month. But even number 100 on that list, a company called Charming Shop, still has 3.4 million unique visitors a month. So customers are going to these sites anyway. Or is what the affiliate is doing incremental to that organic traffic, and should they get paid? And why does it matter? It matters because as cookies get dropped on different people's machines, there's an opportunity, especially for certain business models where they're putting tons of ads out there in remnant inventory ad networks and things like that. There's an opportunity for a lot of cookies to be out there and for those affiliates to just benefit from the sales that would have happened anyway. Now, it doesn't just affect people with high organic traffic or people with long cookie latencies. It also affects really any traffic. I mean, advertisers that get highly incremental sales tend to have higher quality affiliates as well as ads that are probably reaching the right audience. Now, if the number of sales is not the only right metric to look at, what are the other types of things that we should be looking at as advertisers? One of them is buying activity over the lifetime of the customer. What kind of quality of customers coming in through that affiliate? I'm going to get back to that one a little bit later. A second one is engagement with the merchant. So you can look at things like bid-to-click ratios. So when a customer's coming in, how many of those clicks are actually converting into sales? But even things like time on site and page views. So how much time are the people that those affiliates are sending over actually spending with eBay? Now, one of the pushbacks that I get back from affiliates is, well, Will, how can I possibly control whether somebody spends 3 minutes on eBay or 6 minutes? And you know what? You're absolutely right. I think when you get to those types of times on site, it's our responsibility to have good merchandising, to offer the customers that you send to us the best products that are going to convert given their interests. However, when you start to look at some affiliates that are driving us customers that are spending 10 seconds, 15 seconds on our site on average, you do have to ask yourself, are they reaching the right audience, an audience that comes to our website and then clicks right off? And if they are reaching the right audience, are they doing gimmicks to try to get them to click on ads? And you get cookies placed on machines where those people really aren't interested at that particular point in time in that merchant. The other big area here is fraud metrics. And you tend to start looking at, Steve talked a lot about the folks that we find to be fraudulent affiliates for doing things that violate terms and conditions. Some affiliates also, just because of the nature of the customers that they bring to the site, have customers that have more unpaid items. So they'll buy something on eBay but then won't pay. Or they have credit cards that end up with credit card fraud and payment fraud. So again, if there's going to be some variability over the site average, but if an affiliate is bringing us a bunch of customers that are 5x, 5 times the average of fraud that we would see on credit card fraud, for example, there's something there that we need to address. There's something there that we need to correct. And as you start thinking about these types of metrics, some things start to pop out that challenge what we traditionally have thought of, I think, in affiliate marketing. So one of them is that small affiliates can actually be your best affiliates. So what you're looking at here is a chart where on the y-axis you have revenue per click, average revenue per click, and on the x-axis is a measure of the size of the affiliate. All the way to the left are affiliates that are driving us more than 500 clicks a day. All the way to the right are affiliates that are driving us less than 100 clicks per day, and the middle's in between. Now, in terms of the average revenue per click that we get from each of these affiliates, the guys that are biggest are actually 6% below the overall site average. And as you move right on this chart, the guys that are driving us 100 to 500 clicks are 32% above average and 44% above average, respectively. Now, this starts the question, hey, there are probably some small affiliates out there that are doing some really interesting things, either integrating your ads in very interesting ways, or they've probably cracked through a little bit more. Yet the question is, how many programs out there do you know that reward small affiliates with higher than average payouts? It's a hard thing to do, right? Most of us end up managing actively our top 10, top 20, top 50 affiliates, rewarding those guys a little bit more because we have that personal relationship with them. And everybody else in the program doesn't get that special reward and that compensation. The question is, should it be that way? So what can you do here? I think as an advertiser, it's really all about helping your affiliates drive incremental traffic. Helping affiliates better sync up with your goals and objectives and special promotions, get very clear about what those are. 2 is, I think, as an industry, we need to get a little bit more creative about compensation structures. We need to figure out, again, how do we compensate our best affiliates, regardless of size, a little bit more than we are today. And we got to do it in such a way that is not overly complex. I mean, there's 5 million things you could do to add complexity to the percentage of sale and things that we do right now. We got to make sure we don't fall into that trap. And then there's just investing better technology for your affiliates. So there is more transparency and better metrics. There is making sure that you are using as much of the customer data that you have to help target and convert their users as much as possible. And that you're doing things like learning from landing page optimization and geo-targeting, and sending their users to your right sites as much as possible. Now, by the way, we're nowhere near 100% of where we want to be on any of these things, right? I think we need to improve a lot. These are some of our objectives for 2009, and we think that there are other folks out there that can benefit from some of these things as well. Now, as an affiliate, what can you do? You can actually affect this as well. So one is maximize the unique content on your site. Now, it shouldn't come as a big surprise that there are very different levels of incrementality from different sites. You know, ringtone sites that end up just throwing as many ads as possible onto those sites, or parked domains that just pack the space 20 ads deep, are not going to convert as well and are not going to be as incremental as interesting, niche, product-oriented content that people integrate those advertisements into. So, you know, the best is a little bit like we've been talking about at this conference and other sessions. I mean, if you can develop a passion and a brand and a series of sites that people can go to, that's best. But there's also ways of hiring others to write content, whether that's, you know, folks like Brafton, who's got a site out there, or other folks. There are ways to get help in developing your websites out a little bit. Use targeted creatives and tools whenever available, and when they're not available, think about building your own widgets if you're not already doing that. Make sure you're trying to integrate merchant links as much as you can within your content instead of just around content. You know, I think it's starting to become very obvious that the click-through rates of skyscraper ads and leaderboards are just going down over time. People just learn to ignore that. The beauty of affiliate marketing is the ability to integrate those ads right within the content and engage users as they're interacting with whatever you're telling them or whatever service you're giving for them. So we've found that very tied to good incrementality. Optimize your landing pages and use geo-targeting where available, and avoid simply incentivizing visits to the advertiser. So if you're paying people dollars or points or whatever just for people to click on a link, you know, most of those people end up coming to the sites and not doing anything on those sites. And so it's important to make sure that you're driving folks that are interested. And most of all, just test. We don't profess to have all the answers to this question. These are some of the ideas that we've seen from some of our best affiliates, but I think this is going to evolve over the next few years. And we are very open to other ideas that come out of folks that have tried. The other area is lifetime value of customers. And the question here is most programs end up paying a flat fee for new users that are brought to the system. As Steve described, eBay is a little bit interesting in that we pay a percentage of the sale that we get, as well as if you give us a new registered user, we'll pay you a dollar fee for that. Now, most people just pay a flat dollar fee or a fee that goes up with volume. The question is that the right thing? So should they be looking at the lifetime value of those leads? And we believe they should. A couple of reasons why. I mean, decades of marketing science have basically told us that, hey, lifetime values actually vary by customer. But what's interesting as we've looked at the data, and I'm going to show you a couple of graphs here in a second, is that the average value of customers can actually also vary a lot by affiliate. And what you want to do is just make sure that you're linking what you're paying with the value they're delivering. And it turns out that affiliates that are sending you more leads don't always necessarily send you the highest quality leads. So some data from our program, this is October 2008 data. And what you see on the y-axis is the lifetime value of customers to us. Now, the numbers aren't important. It's just, let's call it a value index that's been obscured a little bit. But generally represents how valuable the average affiliate's customers are to us. And on the right axis, or the x-axis, we have rank-ordered affiliates from lowest to highest. And what you see is the line represents the program average. There are a bunch of people that are, of our publishers, that are driving below average ACRUs. And as if you need another acronym in the internet marketing space, ACRUs are just our definition for new users, active, confirmed, registered users. And the guys towards the right of this chart are actually not getting compensated for the traffic they bring. They're bringing us phenomenal users. Either, I don't know, they could be people that are buying high-end stereo equipment, or folks that are really engaging with some of our best categories. And in the past, we just weren't compensating affiliates for bringing us these great users. Now, to my point, where a lot of programs actually compensate for the more leads that somebody brings, the better, and the more you compensate them, we actually did another graph where, again, the y-axis is the same value index of lifetime value, and the x-axis is the size, or the number of new leads, or ACRUs, that an affiliate brings. And what you see is you do have some of our affiliates that are our biggest affiliates that are driving some pretty good leads. You got 1 or 2 dots that are kind of up there towards the right of this chart. But you also have a lot of the smaller guys towards the left-hand side of this chart that are driving us some pretty good leads as well, and folks that are converting and buying a lot of stuff. And if you go one step further and you draw a regression line to say, gee, is the value of the leads correlated with how many leads are sent, you kind of see that the correlation is not always there. So what this tells us is we need to supplement volume-based tiers with factors to reward for quality. Now, how might this work? We've actually done this with the US program on eBay Partner Network, and let me walk you a little bit through how this worked. So we used to pay $25 to $35 for new registered users that got sent to us in tiers. There were 5 tiers, and you went up by $3 for each tier. What we've done is actually expanded that range, and for some people, we're actually now paying $1 per new lead, but for some people, we're paying up to $50 per new lead. And what we've done is set up a system and an algorithm that actually adjusts ACRU tiers for our publishers on an ongoing basis. Now, these tiers are optimized and updated every month, but we also use history so that we smooth the tiers out and you don't have publishers that are seeing wild fluctuations up and down, and we use that and we take that into consideration. The objectives here continue to be reduce fraud, reduce the folks that are sending us the least valued customers, and let them go and advertise for other merchants if that's what makes more sense for them. And then make sure that for the people that are sending us the best traffic, we pay them more. Because we don't, if we have our choice, we don't want them to be using paid search advertising. We don't want them to be putting display ads on their sites. We want them to be putting more of our affiliate ads, and we should be ready to pay more for those guys. So the way that this ends up working is that if before is the top chart, where we had one single average payout with no quality tiers, we were overpaying a whole bunch of folks and underpaying a whole bunch of other folks. With value-based pricing, you end up getting a lot closer to paying folks what the leads that they're bringing are. So the way this worked is we implemented it on August 1st. The rest started November 1st. And we're using a predictive model that we can't, like AdSense doesn't share the quality score metric that they use. We can't describe the exact algorithm. But it does include things like, what did people buy? How much revenue did they bring? How many unpaid items and fraudulent users came from these new user buckets? And we take all of this and calculate the quality score, and they type payout. Now, what's interesting is we've had a reduction of almost 80% in the lowest quality tiers as people have gotten smarter and have started to move into higher quality tiers, and as some of the affiliates that were driving us the worst traffic have just stopped driving traffic to us. And at the same time, thousands of active affiliates are actually getting paid $28 or more, which for most of them is more than they were making in the past system, where most were just qualifying for the $25 tier. And there's actually a lot also qualifying for the $40 and $50 tiers. So we think it's been a win-win, and we're going to continue to watch how this goes. So opportunities here. A couple of them. So as an advertiser, really for lead gen It's all about investing in better technology. It's all about figuring out what is the lifetime value of the customer and what are the variables for your website and for your activity that tell you that. This means also finding ways to reward affiliates for the lifetime value of customers. Now, this one's a little bit tricky, and there's a couple of different ways of doing that. One is going ahead and just putting longer cookie latencies and just leaving that cookie open to pay affiliates for what they're driving. Now, the problem with that is that you start to get into a little bit of the trouble of sales incrementality that we were talking about before. Another thing is just wait to pay, right? Wait to see what these new users are doing for you, and then pay affiliates 2 months later, 6 months later. Now, most of the publishers in here would probably say, we get pretty nervous if you're talking about just delaying payment for long periods of time. So this one has its complications as well. I think one of the most powerful ways is just going ahead and building predictive models that with a few weeks or a few months of data can start to really get a feel for, gee, what type of customers does this publisher typically send? And let's go ahead and reward them more quickly based on that data. And then it's important, too, to make sure that your publishers aren't getting swung about all the time. And so investing in a little bit of technology and a little bit of thinking around how do you smooth out variability a little bit from month to month so that people aren't swinging from tier to tier all the time. For affiliates, again, there are ways that we've seen that actually affect and are common to some of the folks that are in our top tier. So one is just paying attention to the profile of your customer base. Now, it shouldn't come as a surprise that publishers that are sending us customers from plastic jewelry bead enthusiast sites are going to have a very, very different profile than customers that are coming from a blog for high-end stereo equipment sites. Now, those are extremes, right? There's a lot of middle ground. But a little bit of that thinking, a customer that's going to come in and buy a 99-cent piece of plastic jewelry is probably not going to have the same lifetime value as customers in other categories. Second is just don't use gimmicks to get people to sign up. And that goes, I think in lead gen, we do find some of that today where people are still paying $5, $10, $15 out to incentivize registrations. Now, for some merchants, that may work. That may work. What we've found with our data, if you look at the lifetime value of customers, most of the affiliates that have done that for us aren't driving us very good quality users. Most people come in, buy the minimum amount that they need to go ahead and qualify to get those $10 and then never do anything again on that site. So think about whether it makes sense to do that. Or whether it makes sense to spend more time pre-selling the service, convincing the users that the place you're going to send them to is actually a good service, that it's an interesting service, and not just leaving it all to the merchant. And I think the other big thing we found is especially for programs that have both sales and leads, if you focus on driving sales, if you focus on driving activity, good users will come by themselves. And so again, here, these are some of the things that have popped out from working with some of the guys in the top quality tiers. This is by no means a comprehensive list, and we hope to continue to learn as time goes on, and we'd love to hear from you guys. So just to close out here, two more slides. One is, as excited as we can get about data and figuring out how to use pricing and compensation as a way to better align what you pay folks for the value they bring, it's no silver bullet. Affiliates is still a relationship-oriented channel, and personal relationships are going to be the key to attracting some of the top affiliates, working with them to really give you high-quality traffic, and helping them reach their full potential. And that's not going to change anytime soon, no matter how much data and how many algorithms we end up building. And we've invested pretty heavily ourselves in continuing to build out our account management teams and customer support teams. And we think that's important. The second thing is, pricing is never going to catch all fraud. So, ideally through pricing, you'd pay zero to the people who are defrauding you, and then use that as a lever to catch fraud. I think, we're always going to need a strong network quality team that goes in and kind of keeps up with the trends and figures things out, and all advertisers are going to need the same thing. And then the other big part is, yes, most of the time I think affiliates are looking for higher commission structures, but you need to continue to invest more than dollars in your affiliates. And this is one of our big objectives for 2009, but it is, figure out how to give them more premium creatives, tools, APIs, do creative optimization, do landing page optimization, help them become better affiliates. They're devoting real estate to you on their site. If they are sophisticated, they'll back some of that out to, hey, what is the equivalent CPC rate that this CPA program is translating into? What's the equivalent cost per impression rate that this is coming out? And we need to work to help them make it make the most sense possible. So final slide here is, why are we sharing all the insights that we've learned this past year? That was a corporate relations question that I got as they were reviewing this presentation. Well, first of all, this is probably not all the insights that we've learned in the past year, but it is some of the more interesting ones. And I think the big takeaway from this for me is, we all win from raising the quality standards in affiliate marketing. I think advertisers get better leads that are truly incremental to their own efforts, and just get more for the dollar they spend. The best affiliates should be getting compensated more than they are today. And so if we get this right, that will happen. And I think that's a big opportunity. The other thing is, most of us, and there were a good number of merchants in the audience, most of us have to go back and explain to our VPs and our presidents and our CEOs that affiliate marketing is a great thing and that we should do more of it. Now, the more we can prove that affiliate marketing is actually giving us fantastic placement on great sites, incremental leads, the more budgets we're going to get, the more budgets we're going to be able to pay out as commissions, the more tools and the more platform developments we're going to be able to do. And I think that's huge. And Steve was kind of alluded a little bit to, we've got a little bit of a healthy competition going on in a place like eBay, where affiliate marketing is one of 4 big channels that we have. We've got paid search, display advertising, and we've got relationships with some of the largest websites out there that we do co-marketing with. Now, I think affiliates can be a lot bigger. And whether you're talking, I think affiliate marketing has sometimes been thought of, well, if I can't monetize my site through banner advertising, or I can't get people to sponsor my site or things like that, I'll just go ahead and throw some affiliate ads on there and see what happens. I think independent of whether it's a CPA, monetization model, or anything else, affiliate marketing is the way for merchants to connect directly with publishers and together really find innovative ways and creative ways of marketing products and marketing sites. And I think it has the power to do that more than any other channel out there, especially more than channels that don't optimize. And affiliates can be some of the most creative folks out there, and so and some of the most integrated folks. And so I think together we can really help the channel reach its full potential. So we've got 10 minutes left, and we wanted to push it over to questions here. But 2 things. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about some of our findings and more of the data, we've actually partnered with a new journal that's come out. So the Search Engine Marketing Journal just published their first volume back in November, and they're coming out with their second volume at the end of January, and we've got a white paper in there where we go into even more detail on some of the stuff that we were talking about here today. Or just come talk to us. We'll do some Q&A right now, but we'll stick around for, I think the next session here starts at 3:15, but we'll be around for 10 or 15 minutes. We can go in the hallway if we need to chat with some of you guys. And we've got a booth inside as well. I think they all shut down at about 4 p.m., so there's not a lot of time, but feel free to stop by and just check the program a little bit more. With that, just want to go ahead and turn it over to questions.
Hi, I was wondering what some of the most interesting new affiliate business models you've seen in the last 6 months. As new ideas are coming up, what's working best, and in what direction do you see that going?
Yeah, I mean, I think they run the gamut. I think 2 really interesting models we've seen. One is folks that are doing shopping comparison in new and innovative ways, right? So, one of the things about eBay is that if you actually go on eBay.com, and I don't know how many of you are actually shoppers on eBay on a regular basis, but our search experience really hasn't changed all that much in the last 5 or 10 years. We've kept getting a little bit better at improving finding, making sure that folks can find the best items as quickly as possible, but the interface hasn't changed a lot. And so we have some affiliates that are out there coming up with new and innovative ways to either show our search results or come up with, there's a couple of affiliates right now that are experimenting with clothing, shoes, and accessories and ways of getting recommendations for, hey, if you liked this type of fashion, you might like this type of fashion. Style Hive, for example, is out there doing some of that. And I think as you look at other types of categories, you're going to see more and more innovative stuff like that. The other really exciting type of affiliate is just the folks that are out there doing a little bit of what Gary Vaynerchuk was talking about in the keynote yesterday, which is people that are passionate about particular areas, whether that's wine or motorcycles or high-end consumer electronics and stereo equipment, and really building out sites that do deep integration of eBay and other merchant sites out there. Just finding interesting ways of incorporating that into the content so that it doesn't feel like advertising, it feels like content. And I think the more people use some of our widgets that actually get you listings, and the more people use our APIs, we actually have a library of APIs where you can go and just search our back end directly, the more integrated these things feel, and the more interesting the models become.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Can you share what were the number of fraud sales or CPA or CPL cases that you were getting before and after the initiative that you took?
The amount of fraud? As far as going to the exact numbers, it's not something we generally share. I think the anecdote there is, as we launched eBay Partner Network, a lot of what we were talking about, every single team meeting was 90% on talking about the bad guys, and that's turned around now where we're talking more 90% about the account management that Will's team is doing now and the good things that are going on versus all of the bad guys that are popping up. So let's just, probably leave you with, it's been dramatic, and we're by no means, our manager runs our network quality team, says, I'll never stand on the deck of an aircraft carrier and say mission accomplished, but I feel really good about where we're at right now. So I can talk maybe a little bit more offline, but it's been really dramatic as far as the impact that we've had. And just now, when we look at our top 200 affiliates, and before it was a real potpourri of, the joke was in our meetings when we talk about somebody else who popped up into our top 200-300, well, what are they doing and when are we going to have to kick them out? And by and large, it was a pretty pessimistic outlook, but by and large, it was almost 100% true. So now when we feel really good about who we've got in our top hundreds of affiliates, and when we see them, we know what their business models are, we know who they are, we've developed relationships with them, and it's been a really, really good turnaround in that perspective. So,
Thank you.
Thanks for the question.
Hopefully I successfully avoided answering your question. So. Thanks.
Place to make sure you're not double paying through multiple marketing channels for the same customer?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think that's going to be the next. That's going to be the next big question out there of how do you really see how many touch points you have as a merchant with your customer wherever they are, whether that's paid search or display advertising on many, many thousands or tens of thousands of sites and affiliate marketing. I mean, one of the things we do is just realize that, hey, some of this is you need to get your message out there to your customer in multiple ways. And you're never going to just get and pay for one specific channel that leads to one specific sale. This is all part of an overall marketing spend that tries to get you in the consumer's mindset, especially as you get closer to the end of the purchase funnel, and especially as they're ready to buy. You want to make sure that you've had brand advertising at the beginning to be out there and be in the consideration set, but right when they're then searching for, hey, who's the best merchant out there that has what I want. You also want to be in those channels as well. So I think by really thinking about and managing that purchase funnel and how much you're devoting to each part of that, you can start to address some of that.
But maybe one other specific thing to add is, we do deduplicate across our channels. So it is, basically when we look at attributing sales or leads, it's last cookie wins across all of our internet marketing channels.
Thank you.
Yep. Anyone else interested in stepping up to the mic? Great. Well, if not, thank you very much. And wanted to leave that quality is really, really important to us. We've seen great results from the work that we've done. We've seen great innovation from our affiliates as we've gotten the quality message out, and people have really embraced it. And I think by all taking this on as an industry, we can really raise the bar for affiliate marketing and really shine the spotlight on it for the effective marketing channel that it really is. So. Thanks, and look forward to working with all of you on quality in 09 and beyond.